No.
You guys said that yesterday. I totally disagree.
You can't come on that show. Listen,
I don't think he can argue with
if she
woman.
was a man,
He can't.
No, he cannot.
If she was a man, he wouldn't have treated her that way.
But
that's all we're talking.
No.
You guys said that yesterday. I totally disagree.
You can't come on that show. Listen,
I don't think he can argue with
if she
woman.
was a man,
He can't.
No, he cannot.
If she was a man, he wouldn't have treated her that way.
But
that's all we're talking.
About 6'3",
Okay,
long
I
arms.
let him be 6'4". He's still shorter than my boy. Long arms? Can he jump? Can he run? Not like my boy. Let me tell you something. If you take Steph Curry,
how do you, something is wrong with you.
yes,
sir. It
I'll
doesn't
tell you
make
what's
any
wrong
sense.
with you. I keep talking to you. Max, next.
You go ahead. You go ahead and talk to Max.
gotta talk to Max. This
You
is
go
my
ahead and
guy
talk to
right
Max.
here.
All right, well,
I don't even understand you right now. This is
the criticism.
Talk to him, Max.
This is the criticism.
Around to look at her. I wish you would have done that to any other male anchor that had questions for him and has been very critical of him. I've never seen him do that.
I've definitely seen him
Listen,
I've definitely seen him take large dumps and go at men.
To the point where
yes.
he turned his back on an anchor?
I think he would if the man was sitting on the other side of the room.
No, that's not an excuse.
Might, but that's not what happened.
Listen, I wish he would have roasted her.
All right. I hate when women do that. That was Lower Styles from Hot 97. Going in her little, and I get it, she's a female journalist, so, you know, in her business, in her mind, that's the lowest is to not acknowledge you, right? But let's contextualize this shit, though, right? I hate when women say things like, well, you wouldn't do it to a man. But when you look at the receipts, and now the exchange between him and Stephen A. Smith, I guess, was more playful. It was still hyper, but it was more playful because Stephen A. Smith didn't attack his parenting skills. Stephen A. Smith critiqued his price of his shoes, but he didn't go around talking about, I would never wear this shoe. Again, when I heard her say that, I wouldn't wear a shirt with BBB on it. And I'm like, you entitled little cunt, you. Like, this ain't got nothing to do with you. Like, again, you giving unsolicited advice that wasn't asked for. And he took it personal, whatever. But I don't like when women do that, right? So if I don't like you, I don't respect you, especially if you're a journalist, what do I do? Do I engage in back and forth with you, or do I get up and leave the interview or whatever? Like, he came there to interview with the dude, and she's just a co-host. Her back is turned to him. It's already awkward in the first place. So if I don't like you, or if I don't respect you as a journalist or whatever, and you're a woman, and I know that that's going to hurt you more than calling you out of your name or to being disrespectful in that sense, what can I do the most subtle way? Just turn my back on you. Everybody praised those people who boycotted Betsy DeVos at the Black HSBU. I thought the boom was ignorant. That's just stupid. Like, that's just dumb. But turning your back, I'm like, all right, that says you don't want to hear what they say. You don't respect what they're saying. You turn your back on them. Everybody praised that. Everybody loved that. But now it's disrespectful when someone you don't like comes to speak to you and they turn their back on you. Now, he did kind of do the same thing to Stephen A. Smith. It was more playful, again, because Stephen A. Smith didn't attack his parenting. Actually, Stephen A. Smith congratulated him on being a good dad and a good father. Stephen A. Smith didn't say, although he critiqued the price of his shoes, he didn't go around saying, I would never wear nothing with the BBB brand on it. So those are different contexts. But Stephen A. Smith has LaVar Ball has clapped back at every person who has came at him in the media. Whether it was Shaq, LeBron, Charles Barkley, Stephen A. Smith. People be like, well, why don't you make your shoes cheaper? Shaq, he's like, Shaq, do your sons wear your shoes? No. LeBron's like, LeBron bitch ass who didn't have his father, probably don't understand how this thing works. He was simply talking about how, a lot of the great kids don't end up being great because there's a lot of pressure. And LeBron's talking about keeping my kids' name out your mouth. He didn't say your kids' names. He responded to a question when he was asked, like a million times happened before. I remember not that long ago, Shaq had the same problem. It didn't get that big of a blowback. But Shaq was saying the same thing about his son playing in the league and being good and being great. And I guess Shawnee, the mom, pushed back. It was like, he can do what he want to do. Like Shaq's like, no, he's gonna be a better ball player than I was. He's gonna motivate his son to be great. And the people said the same thing back then. It's funny how we actually forget these situations. They occur often and they always repeat. But he was getting blowback for people saying he's too much. He's at the game. You see Shaq dancing in the crowd at his son's game and wilding out and all that stuff. Whatever. So, but LeBron's being a little bit shy. Don't keep my kids' name out your mouth. He didn't speak about your kids. He said something that we've all been saying. The people who are the greatest athletes, kids tend to not be that great because it's too much pressure. But he has a list of receipts of clapping back at people who come at him. So this idea he wouldn't have done it to a woman. Now, the way he did it, again, first of all, I've watched debates and arguments on Facebook between men and women all the time. And I watch a woman go toe-to-toe and go back and forth with this man for hours. Just getting notifications all day. And then she'll end the debate with, "Oh, you a bitch ass for arguing with a woman." So, like, as they did say kind of on the Hot 97, if he did go back at her toe-to-toe and go back and forth with her, it's still a lose-lose situation because now he looks like a bitch because he's arguing with a woman. Me, if I know that ignoring you or just not speaking to you is going to make you feel some type of way, I'm going to do that. But then she was wrong again for trying to make it about all women and throwing fat people in there with her. She played that victim card so damn good. But get the hell out of here with this. Like, all the articles, like Yahoo said his name wrong, but they're all, you know, he's a monster, he's a sexist, he's a misogynist, all this other shit. That's one thing that men have to stop worrying about. We have to stop caring about these isms and being called that because they're going to call you that regardless. Homophobic, sexist, misogynist. If you don't agree with their idea, you don't have to say anything wrong. Just debating them, saying you don't co-sign this or co-sign that, that's enough to put you in those terms. So those terms are irrelevant. They become more and more irrelevant the more they become used. Then I listened to the whole Charlamagne Donkey Today thing, and he said pretty much the same thing that I said, but I call timeout foul because, as I alluded to, the whole Trump thing with Rosie O'Donnell and Megyn Kelly and whichever woman who came at him, he clapped back at them. Charlamagne had no problem playing the victim card with women. Charlamagne had no problem jumping on that bandwagon during the elections when his Miss Hillary didn't win or when she was losing. So him making this argument on his Donkey Today, but then during the election, he was right along with the women and the feminists. Oh, he's a sexist, he's a misogynist, yada, yada, yada. He don't respect women because when women came at him, he clapped back at them. That's all fair, love, and war. But I did hear him make the analogy about Emmett Till. Was I thinking that? Absolutely. Was it that deep? Probably not, but I did think that. Like, yo, like this is the type of shit to get brothers lynched. I mean, the way she did it, though. Like, if you listen to, like, he's ignoring her. He's like, I don't want to talk to you. She keeps interjecting. Oh, you hate women. Oh, you hate fat people. Oh, you don't respect women. Oh, they will never work with you. After he already said, I don't want to talk to you no more. You're being disrespectful. You are one entitled person. You're not even the host of the show. You won't look at me in the eye. You won't talk to me. I don't respect you, so no, I'm not going to do that, right? Everybody was happy when the HBCU did that to Betsy DeVos. Turn your back on her. Don't respect her. Don't listen to her. That was cool. That's a way to protest. I don't respect you reporting on me. I don't like the way you came at my family. I don't like the way you came at my parenting skills. Whatever. Jason Whitlock said something similar. He came at his weight, which Jason Whitlock admitted, yo, I got that same type of personality. We can dish and go back and forth. I don't care about him making personal attacks. That's what we do. He's saying the chick shouldn't have it, but she was trolling the man, and she got clapped back at. It's that simple. I'm not saying LaVar Ball's he's not different. He's over the top. He's all that, but that's his way of doing things. It's not something we've seen before. Again, we always asking where the daddy at, where the father at. One's here now. We all like, damn, he should go away. And I'm like, you got people that's childless. One of the things the chick said too that was wrong is, he has 3 sons, and they're all ball players, and he forced them to do that. That's not a choice, and all this liberal bullshit where he's like, let your kids just do what the fuck they want to do, and then, later on, they'll just figure it out. I'm like, no, that's not how it works. It's definitely not in a black family or in a black household. Especially when the father's in the house. He's going to say, well, this is what you got, the options here, and you're going to do what you're going to do. When you become an adult, you can do what you want to do. You can leave the house. You can go do your own thing. But that's not how it works in a black house or a house with any type of real leadership. And I was thinking like, well, all three Gronk brothers play football. I live in West New York. They living out in the suburb of Buffalo. All three of them. Now, the only difference is their dad isn't on TV. He's not vocal, whatever. But their father pushes the shit out of them. Two of his sons made it to the NFL. Third one's still in college. He's a smaller one. But two made it to the league. So I hadn't never heard that criticism of, his dad is pushing them too hard. He's making them play football. All the other nonsense. It was just like, they play football. That's it. All three of Gronk, Gronk and his two other brothers all ball. The other one made it to the NFL. I don't know if he got cut. The Bills did pick him up. I don't know. I think he got cut. But I'm saying they all made it to the two made it to the league so far. Third one, I don't know if he can even make it. But we've never heard that criticism of a Peyton Manning and his brother. They both made it to the league. There's no, the father forced him to do this and that. Peyton Manning's father told his son, which was controversial at the time, not Peyton Manning, but his brother Eli, my son won't play for a team. Like, he's the same way LaVar Ball says, I don't want my son playing for Boston, who has the #1 draft pick. I want my son to play for LA. Did the same shit. Was it controversial at the time? A little bit. But that was it. It went away. So I don't buy this idea of she attacked his parenting skills. We've seen the same thing from white coaches, white fathers with sons that play, as far as saying you don't want them to play for a certain team, or being vocal on where they're going to play at, or having several sons play a sport that you pushed them in and they're good at. I'm not buying that. And then this, looking at the fallback, looking at the rebuttals, looking at Jason Whitlock and the other showcase and all this other stuff, is like, I understand them defending the Becky with the white blonde hair because that's their coworker and that's their that's their little group or whatnot. But her playing victim was corny. He didn't attack all women. He attacked her specifically. You want to jump on that? That's fine, but it is what it is. But then the host of the show, Colin, he didn't say shit in that interview. If he's the man, that's his show. He should have ended the interview right there if he felt like she's being disrespected. He gonna say, I did some bitch ass shit, and gonna say, no, I wanted to let him go so he can hang himself and push himself off a cliff so everybody can see this guy's not a good guy. Like, nah, that's some bitch ass shit. If you thought he was being disrespectful to your co-host, you should have ended the interview right then and there. But you didn't do that. You had more to say in the segments when it was just you and her, or when you had Jason Whitlock and the other two brothers on the show. You had more critiques and things to say to him then, but not to his face. You let him continue to do what he was doing without ending the interview, which you should have done if that's how you truly feel. But I don't know. That's just my take watching the I didn't think this shit was gonna get out of hand like this many conversations. But it is any guy who's ever engaged with a woman who's gone back and forth with you, or even when you look at the college player who hit the Becky, who called him the N-word, hit him first. Every view, everything's politically correct says he's a bad person. He shouldn't have did this. Yada yada yada. I'm like, my mindset, she walked up to him and hit him first, and he called him N-word, and he broke her jaw. Is that right? No, but that's what happened. I don't view her as a victim at all. I view two people who responded stupidly, but he ends up in a worse position. People are wishing that he never got picked up or he got drafted or whatever. They're mad at the NFL or whatever because they still want him because he's a prospect, #1. He was like at least 2 seed prospect, but he went in the 4th round as his quote unquote punishment for something he did 2 years ago. That honestly, it was the coach's fault and the university for covering it up or not giving him disciplinary actions, or what they did. They gave him a red shirt year, which is really not a punishment, but I'm saying, like, they did a bad job. You should come at them, not him. They're the ones that didn't hold him accountable to your likability. But that's just my take on it.
There. All 3 sons, you have kids. How rare is it that all 3 kids want to do the exact same thing? They're being forced to do it. They're being told, you will start basketball at age 6, like Lonzo told us. And whenever you asked him a question, I think he said, 5 words? And he looks terrified. whenever he's talking. I asked, have you ever had a disagreement with your father? And he said no. And everyone at this table, we know you at one point or another disagree with your parent, unless you're afraid to disagree with your parent. And what he saw to me looks like he's terrified to go against anything his father says.
Rob, Dan, and Chris are all in the NFL. Gordy played professional baseball. Glenn, the youngest Gronkowski, hopes to join his brothers once he finishes the college career that begins this season. High expectations for you. How does it feel?
I mean, I think it's just awesome seeing them like accomplish everything they have, knowing that they've gone through everything I have to go through. I mean, I definitely still have to work at it.
The work came early, courtesy of their father, Gordy, who made a gym of their basement and coordinated a schedule of physical activity that rarely let up.
But I said, this will take you to the next level if you work hard and you have the passion and you have that type of attitude. And basically, it caught on.
Gordy Gronkowski shares his story of raising a family of champions in the book Growing Up Gronk. It's part memoir, part playbook.
I took care of like the sports end of it, and my ex-wife, she took care of the other end of it, and that she made sure the schooling was all there. I mean, my goal in sports was to get them full scholarships to college. And once I got that, anything else was a bonus in my opinion.
It's not just competition.
Exactly.
It's not just getting on each other. There's a lot of support there.
And that's what I brought my kids up to say, live every day to the fullest.
That family credo is now a verb, to Gronk.
Always going out, having a good time, going full speed through life, whatever you're doing.
It's with exuberance.
Yes, exactly.
The odds of three siblings reaching the NFL are an estimated 31 million to 1. Though it is Rob who became a record-breaking star with the New England Patriots.
This is Dan, my brother. He plays for the Cleveland Browns right now.
He often shares the spotlight with his brothers.
They're playing here in New England this year, so don't give them that round of applause.
With their Gronk Nation Foundation, the Gronkowskis hope to share that success with the next generation of athletes.
Growing up, we lived in a good area, and we had everything we want in our schools, the playgrounds, the teams to play on. So it's these days you're starting to take that away from kids with the new budget cuts.
I mean, if someone took sports from us when we were a youth, I mean, we'd be devastated. You know, what would we do?
Chris will take the field this year with the San Diego Chargers, Dan with the Cleveland Browns, and Rob with the Patriots as the highest-paid tight end in NFL history. His most recent contract worth $54 million over 6 years. When he returns to the game is unknown. Rob's recuperating from multiple off-season surgeries. None of my Patriots fans would let me get away without asking how you're feeling.
How am I feeling? Great.
Yeah, with the injury. How do you feel you're coming back?
Feeling
well?
good, man. Definitely.
With the possible exception of Glenn, all of you guys have suffered serious injuries in sports. Do you think about that, or you push it out of your head when you're playing?
Injuries are part of the game, but you never think that's going to happen to you. I mean, even when I tore my pec off my chest, I went in there the next day saying, you know, my arm hurts, but I'm good.
It's tough, you know, because you want to be out there with your teammates, and you don't know when it's going to happen. You go out there every day, you give it all you have.
Gordy Gronkowski raised his sons to give all they have in everything they do. As a former football player at Syracuse University, he also knows the gridiron can be a dangerous place. You and I were talking about Sundays for you, how difficult they are.
You can never enjoy a game when your sons are playing in that. First of all, because of injuries, and I just pray the night before that no one ever gets hurt.
He watches their games with dread.
It's tough.
Did you guys know he worried about you that much?
Yeah.
Yeah, you really don't notice. You don't know really like that because we're not really worrying about ourselves like that. We're going out just focusing on the game to make a play. So we're not, you know, we don't think like that as football players.
It's the worst when it's your family. You know, it's, you know, when you see him get hurt, that's the worst feeling ever. He took a hit in the Kansas City game. I'm like, I was going, oh, please, get up, get up. He fell on his neck. As a father, it just drives you crazy knowing that can happen. It could be his last play.
If Rob stopped playing tomorrow, he would still be considered one of the best tight ends.
Right, exactly, exactly.
But he's not going to stop right now.
No, he's not.
You got a lot of playing left in you.
Yeah, for sure.